Hello there fellow app makers, welcome back to another video of how to developing your tip calculation application using Kotlin languages. Behzad is here from Code Simplifier. If you recall from our previous video, we downloaded some of the icons from Android resources and we implemented those icons into our application. As you see here, I'm running my application and here are those three icons we downloaded from or imported from Android resources and we applied it to our application. Here how our application is look like, and it pretty much looks okay, but definitely there is more room to improve our user interface, and that is what we are going to do today. In today's video we will be talking about the styles and dimensions resources. So it sounds new and strange to you, so that's okay. We are going to do it together step by step, and by end of this video you can apply those new techniques to your application, and you will have a concept of what are those two things which I mentioned. What is a style? In technical word, a style means a collection of attributes for a single widget. And if I'm going to give you a real life example, let's say you have a few clothes that you wear them together. For instance, you have a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, and a pair of sport or sneakers. So whenever you're wearing those sets together, you have your clothes style, which it calls informal or casual style. If we are going to take a step back into our technical terms of a style, this is how we could explain it. Let's say you have a font with a different color, which this is an example. Then you will have a specific shape, which here we have it as a rectangle, and you would like to have a specific background color for the item you are creating. And if you are putting these three items together, put them together and make a collection, then you can call that a style. For instance, you will create a style, call it cool style, then you are giving a background to it. It could be blue. You will give a shape to it, and you are giving that font into it. And inside your application, whenever you're calling the cool style, wherever you want to apply it, this is how that style comes into your app and how it will look like. Don't worry, it just may sound a little bit confusing for now, but whenever we're going back to our application and we are going to apply these changes into our app, you will understand what is every step means. Go inside your project, and we are in our res folder, so you have values. If you expand your value folder, you have colors, strings, and a theme folder which contains your day mode and night mode theme. So if you don't have the style repository here, we are going to create it. Just come above your value, right click and click on new, and we are going to create a resource file. Name it the styles, and the source set will be main, directory name will be value, which that is okay. Just click OK. And here we created a style resource for our application. And if I want to explain that inside this is what we created. We created this shape to hold on our style together. Then here we have to add the style. Don't worry about the name for now. And here I want to explain to you how you can give name to your styles and how you can avoid any mistakes for future updates. For now, just follow these steps that I'm going to take, and then we'll step back and I will explain to you what everything means. So if we are going to take a step back, what just happened? I create a tag name styles. Then I gave a widget, which that is internal or pre-default by Android Studio. And the My Tip app is the name of your application. For this example, my application name is My Tip app. And for whatever name of your application is, you must make sure you put the application name correctly inside the first style name. Then follow the text view is predefined by Android Studio. And here we used a parent. Same thing has been repeated, except from the middle thing which we used our application, we just put our material components inside it. What does that mean? That means we are using this widget or material components for our application. We are going to apply these styles into our application, and that will help in a future updates or whatever reason could happen to Android Studio. whenever they're doing any changes to material components, then your application will automatically be updated. If you are not going to take this step for upcoming features, if let's say material components have a new update or new feature, then your application won't compile with it and you have to come back and manually do it. So that is a simple reason for why we are giving a name and why we are following the parent. To make this concept more clear, I want to give you a real life example. Let's say you have an iPhone or Android devices that you are using. Whenever the iPhone or Android releasing a new updates for the operation system, you will get a notification and they will recommend you to update to the latest version. And this is how it works. Your app or your Android device is connected to the resources, and whenever they do any changes, they will let you know to apply those changes to your device. And this is what we are telling our system. We are using the current version. If any change comes up, please apply it to our system without us to come back and do it on our own. Now we created our style, we gave a name to it, and we applied or we inherited it from our parent repository. Now let's give some details to this style, what it should look like, what a font, what color, and what size we are going to use. So just write down an item close tag. Give a name to your item and just put Android quotation mark and just write down as mean height as 48 dp. If I want to show you this example in our PowerPoint is here. We gave a shape size to our style. Then come below the second item, just give another item to it. And the name for that one will be gravity, and it will be center vertical. And they are optional, they could be however you want to look like. Then we need a third item, and the name will be Android text appearance. Here sometimes the Android device or Android system won't recognize the auto completion, and I will normally do it just manually. Just question mark ATTR / and here just write down text appearance body 1. That is what we created. And by contrast, this is what we created. We created a style, we gave a name to it. Apart from the background color, we just gave a font color and the shape to our style. And now, how could we take advantage of this style and apply it to our application? Which that is super easy. All you have to do is call the name of the style, and all of those new feature or new details will apply to your application. One thing you have to be mindful of is however you're creating the style and what concept or word structure you are giving it, you are allowed to using only that style for the designated attributes or the section you are going to use. What does that mean? For instance, for reality, here we gave a text view. That means we only are allowed to apply this style for any text view in our application. That's it. We cannot apply this style to any edit text, image, radio button, or whatever we are using in our application. So go to your main activity, XML, and apart from the question of how was the service and the tip amount, we don't use any other text view. So just come back to your service question in text view, below your ends tag, just call out the style, and the name of the style will be recommended by Android Studio. So make sure you're using the correct style into your application. So with widget, my tip app text view, copy this style, and we are going to paste it inside our tip amount. Come down, and here inside your tip amount, because it is a text view that a new changes has been applied. So to see the difference, I will just comment this for a sec. So we are going to run our application so you will see how it looks like. So I just commented our text view inside our tip command. As you see here, the tip command, I deleted that style to it, and I wanted to just show you the difference. This is how it looks like, and now I'm going to apply those style inside the tip command, and you will see how it will look like. Come inside your text view, just write down the style, and the name of the style will be widget my tip app text view. So terminate your application and run it again, so then we will see the changes has been applied to our application. So I applied the style inside a text view and a tip command. As you see, the text has become a little bit bigger and a brighter, and the same thing has been applied for the question of the service, and that is why, because we have the style inside the text view or the inside the question of the how was the service. So we successfully applied that style for our text view into our application, and creating a new styles or adding other styles will be way easier, because all we have to do is just copy the style code inside our XML file and just rename it and just apply those new changes inside the designated section of our application. So doing that is super easy. Just go back to your style, copy the style form for your text view, come below, and here we have to apply a few changes into our application. Here the widget my tip app is correct. Just delete the text view, write it down as a compound button, and the parent will be exactly the same thing. So instead of the text view, just put it down as a compound button dot switch. So I've added one more style for our radio button. So all I have done was copied the radio button or the switch style inside here and renamed it. Instead of the switch, I just put it down as a radio button, and here we just changed the switch to radio button. Then we have one padding start as ADP, and text appearance will stay as the same thing as exactly what we used for our previous styles. So now we are going to apply those changes inside to our application. So before we going ahead, I forgot to put switch here. So then parent material component switch, and that's it. So go back to your activity main. So we have a switch here, which is down the bottom, and here we are going to give an style to it, and we are just use a switch my tip app. Make sure you're using the correct style that you used. So my tip app component button switch, and that thing will apply it. So come inside your radio button or radio group. We are going to give the style to it, and the style for that one will be radio button my tip app. So now as you see that they are got a little bit bigger. So now let's see how is our application look like after applying those changes into our application. Just reset your app, terminate it, and run it again. So our application is running successfully, and all of those style changes has been applied to our app. So that's it for our style section. Now we are going to move on. And just if I quickly go into recap what we've done, we just simply create a collection of the different information inside one collection, and we applied that a package or that style inside our application, and our app has been affected by those new styles. So now let's move on to our div or dimensions for our application. So dimensions means we are giving a size to your attributes. And here on the left side, we have individual dimensions, and the right side, we have a dimension resources. Let's say you are creating a variable at the width of 28 dp, and you are going to use that variables, let's say 8 times. And every 8 times you have to create it, and you have to give a value to it. And in case if you have to do any changes, you have to go back 8 times and fix those measurements, which that will increase the chance of doing a mistake and facing an error. In other hand, if you are going to create a dimension resource and you're giving a value to it, all you have to do is just using the variable name. And for any reason in the upcoming future, if you have to apply any changes, you have to just go to one place, apply the changes, and that new changes will be applied to every variable that you use with the same name in your application. Inside your value, just right click, create a new resource file, name it dimension or DIMEN, and click OK. Here we have a resource. Just come inside. Sorry, I just deleted it. Just come inside your resource, open up a tag, and you have a daemon. Just call it dp underscore 48. Just for this example, because we need to give an example of a 48 dp to it. And we just name it 48 dp. And why did we create it? If you go into your style, so we have 148 dp that we applied it to our text view and want to use it for our switch. Obviously, again, because we have less components or less measurements here, we can avoid it. But it will be a good practice to create everything, put it in a resource for any possibility changes that you have to do in the future. So all you have to do, just come up in your, we are in our style XML file in our text view. Just delete the measurements and give it at dimension dp48, and you copy this example and just replace it with switch. Obviously, we are not going to use it for a radio button because we don't have any min height 48 in our radio button. That's it for dimension. We just created a resource file, we gave some measurements to it, and we applied those measurements inside our application. So we're pretty much done. We created our style resource folder, we gave some measurements, some attributes to it, and we applied those styles into our application. And there is one more step that we need to take in order to finish this lesson. And that step is we created our style, but for now it is an individual folder. That means we didn't tell the device apply this style into our day theme or our night theme. So that's why we have to go back to our theme and specifically tell the machine or tell our device to apply this style into both night and day theme for our application. Doing that, so it's super easy. All you have to do, just go inside your theme and recall the resources style name. So that we are going to do it in a second. Importing or inserting the style inside the theme is easy. All you have to do, just go inside your theme and call the styles. Just open up the theme. Here below where is the style name, just come down and write down an item, and we are going to give a name to it, and that will be text input style. And inside or between the tags item, just write down style / just write down outline box, and here is a text input layout text outlined box. Just enter that one. That is the first item. We didn't work with it, but you will see how it looks like inside our application. The second one is our text view item / give a name to it. The name will be radio button style. And that will be style / radio button my tip app. So don't forget, you have to just use the name application, not the app compact. Here is where we modified our style. Copy that one, and one more time, this time it will be radio button, it will be switch. Just write it down as switch button style. And here, instead of the radio button, just change that one to switch. Yep, that's it. And copy these three style, and we have to just apply it to our night theme as well. So that's it, and we are going to run our application to see how the new effects will look like in our app. And this is how our application will look like. So we created our outline box inside our theme. We applied the new changes to our text views and our switch button. So if we are going to recap what we've done, we create an style. So which style is a collection of the single attributes all together, and you can use that collection or that package, import it into your application, and you can modify your app. Then we create a diamond resource, which we giving a frequent dimensions in one resource. In case if we have to do any changes, we can just simply go back to the resource, apply the changes, and that new change will be affected. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If in case not a section of this application or this video is going to make sense to you, please don't feel hesitate to write it down in the comment section below, and I will be happy to explain it to you more in details. If you are new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so to not losing any upcoming weekly videos. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day. See you all next week.